Guys, on something else quickly. So just a quick one. The movie Fall Guy came out recently, and unfortunately, it didn't do well at the box office. I mean, according to CNBC.com, it says that Fall Guy stumbled to 28 million during its first weekend in May. And you know how it is. The first opening weekend, you need to really make big numbers, right?
What was
Um,
this even about? Like, I've seen
A
it floating on
rom-com
the internet.
with explosions.
so it's about Ryan Gosling being like a stunt guy, and I think something happens
Main
during
actor disappears. The main actor disappears, and then
yeah
and then the studio's like, "Yo, Ryan Gosling, the stunt guy, can you please go find him?"
yeah.
And that's the mission. He has to go find this guy that's been kidnapped by like the mafia or something. And it's like, what?
And it's based on a series. I think this is the original series,
Yes,
but apparently they're not connected at all. Like apparently Ryan Gosling's name relates to this guy's name, but the storyline is completely off from And I mean,
It's
we also
basically
have
one of
Emily
those
Blunt.
mistaken identities type thing, and then the person has to fight out of it and to save himself type of thing, you know. Like you go like those movies where the couple is in France and then they mistaken for spies and then they do what needs
Right.
to be done and then they have somehow survive it.
Like they just happen to be competent enough, even though it's mistaken identity.
Yeah.
They just happen to be competent enough, like spies.
I mean, wasn't that like a Hitchcock thing where it was a normal person thrust into a weird situation type of thing?
Yeah, it's a normal person. Yeah, but it's also because they don't do spy-like things. That's why they survive. Like,
Right.
you know, you'd expect a spy to like do A and B, and then because it's a normal person, they'll do C, and then because they did C, they managed to get away type of thing.
But it's weird though, you know, normally you would think two attractive people, like an attractive guy and attractive woman would at least get people flocking to the theaters, but unfortunately,
no,
that's not the
dog.
case anymore.
We passed that era now because the other thing is, one, tickets are expensive.
Yeah.
Two,
Yes, 170, dog. You can go
yeah,
to
two, like with streaming services, it's just like this felt like a streaming service movie from what I know.
Right.
And all of that stuff. And I think the other thing is the way they promote these things. Like you need to make it an experience for the viewer. So like, for example, if you're having these guys promote these things, you need to do like, that's why like social media and like YouTubers and on all of that stuff. Like first off, you need to determine how much you need to make back because you're not going to be competing with these Marvel or these big franchises. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So you need to determine how much you spend and how much you need to, what's the profit that you're looking for.
Right.
Then you need to start looking at Emily. Is it Emily? What's her name?
Blunt.
Is it Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that Krasinski's wife?
Yes,
it is.
A Quiet Place, Edge of Tomorrow.
She was actually the first choice to play the Black Widow back in 2000 and whatever 10 or 9 when Iron Man 2 came out. But
I thought she was also gonna play Sue Storm in the MCU, but anyway. Anyway, like you need to look at who's the fans of Emily Blunt, who's the fans of Ryan Gosling. Now, how do we get them into the theater multiple times, basically? So what's the things that they like? And then also, you got to switch this up and not make it a generic plot. Like a mistaken identity with a stuntman, already it feels like this is Hollywood plot number 79 or whatever.
Right.
And then,
it's like that movie, that Johnny Depp movie where he's a spy and it's funny type of thing, you know? I can't remember what it's called.
The Tourist.
So
The Tourist.
Yeah, like that, something like I don't even know how it goes. I know he was. I didn't finish it.
But
I didn't finish it.
To add on to what Buckmeister said is, yes, I think the expectations, to me, 28 million sounds like a success. I don't know how much money you guys thought this was going to make. Are you crazy?
No, but the thing is, like, apparently the last movie that made those numbers was way in like the early 2000s or something, if I'm not mistaken. So,
no, but I'm saying, like, what was the budget?
They're comparing it to that.
But what was the budget?
Just give me a second. I'll just
let's find out the budget because the budget also determines if it's a success. So what you want to do, because now the modeling has changed.
130 million.
Oh no, that's a failure. No, then it's a failure. It's a
Why did
failure.
they spend that much money on such a simple premise?
So 125 to 150. Let me
No,
just read this.
somebody made bank here. Like, hey, this is like I feel like some of these things are
So
laundering schemes.
125 to 150, that's the budget, and the box office 69.6 million. Well, I'm sure it's still continuing because I think it's still at the theaters.
You have to double the number to include marketing, and this one had marketing.
Yes.
I read about this movie months ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Barbie made 2.8 million, so
Right.
they think to themselves, oh well, Ryan Gosling is. Everyone remembers my Ryan Gosling from the Barbie movie. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
is more.
But
He's Ken.
no, Barbie
Yeah.
made bank because it's Barbie, not because Ryan Gosling.
Like, yeah, we're not in the era of actors anymore like that. I think like the last guy that can do that, and even he's struggling right now,
It's
is
Tom
Will
Cruise.
Smith.
That's Tom Cruise, dog.
Tom
Yeah,
Cruise,
okay,
bro.
Tom
Tom
Cruise. Yeah.
Cruise.
He's
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but
slapped
even Tom Cruise, it's not sticking the way it used to. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, in Mission Impossible, if it drops now, it's not going to be doing the Mission Impossible numbers of Mission Impossible like 6 or 7 or
And it's
5.
because of social media, bro. Most of these people are accessible, you know. Back then, they used to be mysterious. You used to read about them in magazines and newspapers and whatever. Now
And
you
this
see
was your
them
only time to
everywhere.
actually get to see them.
Yeah.
No, and I'm saying for me personally, I like that idea because I'm like the IP needs to sell itself. Like you can't just expect to throw this actor in a movie. Your plot is horrible. Your characters are horrible. But now because this guy is there, everybody's just going to look at it with rose tinted glasses and decide, no, this is a great movie. It's like no, 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 no.
Well,
You need to put the work in and write.
Okay, I hear
Right.
what you're saying. Look, I respect what you're saying 100%. But I also think there's an element of I trust Will Smith in his script choices. Like, for example, I don't trust Samuel Jackson. I don't trust Nicolas Cage. I don't trust them at all. But like, let's say Will Smith. The
Oh,
majority
Nicolas
of the
Cage
movies,
just makes a movie.
yeah, but like exactly. Same thing with Samuel Jackson. He shows up in everything. But Will Smith makes like what, 20 movies maybe? And before £7, every movie was a banger. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? So like his decisions were worth listening to. Now
Yeah,
that
even Denzel, his decisions at a point, even
also
Morgan
worth
Freeman.
listening to, yeah. Maybe
I guess so, but I'm saying at the end of the day, I still feel like the product needs to sell itself. Like it can't sell itself on the actor. One, I feel like that's unfair to the actor because like you've seen stuff like that. Like what did Fassbender do? It was the serial murder.
Oh,
The ice.
Assassin's Creed.
No, not Assassin's Creed. There was another movie he did with the no, not it wasn't called The Killer. What was it called? Like basically the murderer was ice, like he used snowmen.
Oh.
What was it
is that the one
called?
with Jeremy Renner.
No, not Jeremy Renner. What's his name? J.K. Simmons is in it as well. It's called Snowman, Seven Snowmen or something.
Seven Snowmen. That's
The
I
Snowman.
don't remember that one.
It's called the Snowman. Came out
I
in
think it's
2017.
Yeah,
yes, that's
Snowman,
the one
yes.
I'm talking about.
The
Yeah.
Snowman. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, again, haven't watched it or whatever, but I like what's this? Like, I saw some clips of it and I was like, But like, basically, when I looked at the reviews of it, people were like, they were banking on Fassbender's stardom to save this movie
To
because
sell
the
the
whole
film.
thing was bad. Like,
Right.
the whole thing was just terrible from
Yeah.
jump. Everything was horrible.
But I would say nowadays, instead of the star, because I agree that the star age is over. I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think now it's the director. I think the director is the power now. I think. Come
Maybe.
on,
I
David.
feel like the fans are the stars now.
Dog.
No,
Fans-
I'm telling you, I feel like it's the IP because remember now, like, for example, let's take Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
If they just said a new thing, like for example, the Acolyte, I don't know who's
Nostalgia.
directing. I don't know who's directing Acolyte, right?
Yes.
Not sure of the director's name. You know, somebody's directing it.
It's time.
Now,
Yeah.
if
They
Acolyte
generally
is
direct per
amazing,
episodes in these ones also. It's
Yeah,
not
but I'm
usually
saying, like,
one
let's say-
person.
Not director, showrunner. Then let's say
yeah,
showrunner.
okay, let's say showrunner. Don't know who the showrunner, but if Acolyte is a banger,
Yeah.
then we're gonna be like, okay, who is this person? So it
Right.
feels like if you can take an IP and like not just popular IP, but if you can take something and make it good, like for example, Arcane on Netflix, right? I
Yeah.
don't know who directed it. I don't know who directed Arcane. I'm gonna go find out because Arcane was amazing,
Yeah,
but I don't
that's
know.
word of mouth. Okay, but now that's word of mouth, right? But
No,
now
I'm not talking
agree-
about word of mouth because when I found Arcane, I just watched it. I was just like, what is this? And then
But most people was like, yo, God, you gotta check out Arcane.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
see
yeah.
that Oppenheimer wouldn't have made the money it made in the box office if Christopher Nolan's name wasn't there.
Right.
He wouldn't have
Because
made
everyone knows Nolan makes
Yes.
a
I think
mind
everybody
bend of a
knows
movie.
Nolan. Yes, I think everybody knows
Exactly.
Nolan. Yes, but I'm saying like I think if like what I'm saying though is like one if I think like the audience can sense when something is special. I think like
Fair.
I think when something something is good, somebody's put some like passion behind it or whatever. Like you don't need to know who's behind it in order for it to like sell itself. If you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So like yes, Nolan, of course, Nolan makes something. Like everybody went to go see Tenet, even though Tenet, like people did not like Tenet or
Right.
Why you
whatever.
saying it like that? I like the way you
It's
Is
a
it
net. Yeah, we call it
ET? What
tenet,
what
but
is it?
Tenet,
10
that's the most African thing
tenet.
I've ever heard in my life.
We say tenet,
I like it.
but yeah, tenet. Yeah, guys, we're South
I
Africans, by the way. But
South
thanks for taking us
Africa,
out.
I
I
okay,
like,
but
I
yeah,
like
That's
I'm
how we say
saying
internet.
so I'm
Tenet.
saying yeah, internet. Wabo.
Actually,
Anyway,
yeah.
but anyway, point being is that I think that I'm not saying the age is over, and I'm definitely not saying that there's directors who don't have that type of pull because they are, but I think they are far and few. I think we're now in the era where the
Probably
IP's
like
got to sell
10.
itself because everybody's competing now. Like everybody's got an idea, everybody's got a thing. There's a bunch of streaming services. Your idea has to win. Like it can't be who's attached to the idea because like yeah, people attach themselves to everything. But if you don't have if you're not writing something you believe in, if you're not directing something you believe in, if you're not acting in something you believe in, usually this is going to be the result.
But it also reminds me of what Quentin Tarantino said before, just going back to what Buckmeister is saying. It was like the thing about superhero movies, what they have done is people don't flock to watch Robert Downey Jr. They go watch Iron Man. They don't go
Mhm.
watch Chris Evans. They go watch Captain America. So definitely the IP or the character. If you're familiar with the character, then you will flock to the movies. Like we wanted to watch Black Panther. That's why we went to watch Black Panther. We wanted to watch Black Panther. That's the truth, you know. So I don't know, but yeah. Do you guys have
Again, but
any
I'm
other?
just saying, like, take these slash these budgets in half and start putting them on streaming services and then having the actors actually target their fan bases to make these things more successful. Like this thing of you
Right,
Yeah,
trying to
make more
always take
back
it to
end
the theater.
deals.
Like
right,
I'm saying, this thing of you always trying to take it to the theater and you're taking such a basic premise. Like dog theaters nowadays, it needs to be an experience. Like it
right.
can't just be we just going because. Like no, it's not gonna work out.